What's up, everybody? Out on a walk right now, and I'd like to share some things with you guys, but I'm not quite sure on how I'd like to pose this video, because there's a sort of range of things I'd like to talk about, and usually the way like big videos or discussions go that I release it's a lot of shit that I like tied in to one thing to make it make sense. You know what I mean? To try and frame it in a way where I'm talking about the entirety and how what I'm talking about is applicable. You know what I mean? And what I'd like to share, I'm kind of high right now, by the way, but there's a range of things I want to talk about in this video. And I think I'm going to title this video Narcissism and the Ability to Connect with People. And that's kind of what I want to talk about is, you know, this term narcissism and what that means, you know, what it means in culture, and when we hear the word narcissism, what we think of, and then how I've come to feel about the term narcissism and that kind of stuff. And also what it means to connect with someone. What that even means to connect with another being, or to understand or be present with another being, and what that means. So narcissism is kind of one of those buzzwords in this era. I'm going to be finding a spot to sit, by the way, so I'm not going to be walking this whole time. I don't know like a psychological and clinical like description and analysis of what narcissism is. But when you hear narcissism and you think of narcissism, you think of someone who is like controlling and manipulative and doesn't budge from how they feel and think about things, and they think they're right, and if someone's hurt, it's them. And it kind of see what I'm saying? I don't have like a general understanding of what a narcissist is, but I do understand at least a little bit about what ego is, about what it means to think you're somebody, you know, because we're all here. I think I'm somebody walking through the woods right now, and how deep that is, how deep ego is, and how ultimately how I understand narcissism is a toxicity of ego, like way too much ego present, of this thing we call ego, this thing that's tied into self-worth, you know, not only what the self is, but why the self deserves this and that, and becomes righteous and greedy and hostile and judgmental and stubborn and arrogant, and all these negative qualities of living and being, how that all ties into ego, and how that's kind of what I understand or think of when I hear the word narcissism. My brother and I were talking about it not too long ago, of how narcissism, it's not like narcissism is right here and then humans are or aren't narcissists. It's not like narcissism is an inherent thing in reality, and certain people are born as a narcissist or not. It's not like that. Narcissism isn't as much a thing as it's made out to be. And it's actually the complete opposite way around, where humans are born, and humans are a pattern, a sort of vibration that expresses different patterns of behavior. And we made up the term narcissism to describe how certain people are. It's not that they are narcissists. It's that certain people act a certain way, and psychologists, clinical psychologists, looked at certain types or certain patternings of people and said, those are what you call narcissists. And what is a narcissist? Like I said, I feel like it's intimately related into ego, you know? I have people in my life, and I'm not gonna give names, but I have people in my life who are unreachable. I can't connect with them. They can be standing right in front of me. And no matter what way I say something, or no matter how I express myself and how sincerely I express myself, it's as though there's a feeling that I'm not connected with them, that I'm not getting through to them, you know? They're not understanding me, or maybe I'm not able to understand them. But in this instance that I'm talking about, it's as though this person, or these people, because it's not just one person, it's people I've come across, and it just so happens that in my close, immediate life are one of these people that I can't connect with. And what that is, what it usually feels, how it usually feels to me, is that they're either unwilling to do something, and we can talk about what that something is. They're either unwilling to do something or are unable to do this something. And what that something is to come out from behind the playing field of the ego mind and to be here. And this is where the way I describe things becomes very abstract and strange and weird, because what I'm talking about is the literal experience of being alive in this moment with someone, and what that means to be with someone. And this ability to connect doesn't mean superficial similarities between each other. That's not what I mean. Because you can be completely similar with how someone is, have a similar personality type with someone. You can even become friends and hang out and do the things that you're similarly interested in. But the feeling of connecting may not even be present. Whether it's because both of you aren't aware of this inner reality that we're sharing with each other, or one of you is aware of this inner reality of presence and existence, but is dealing with the thing where that person they're friends with or very similar with aren't able to connect with them on the level of existing, you know? This probably sounds really weird and far out, but like it's what I consider, connecting to be. Like what does that mean? What does it mean to be present together? Because like I said, this thing I'm talking about of being able to connect with someone, and just to name some people, I am so blessed. I was just talking with my friend a little earlier about how great, because my friend sent me a Snapchat earlier this morning, And it was just a picture of him smiling, and he said, "Here we are." And what that means to me, where that touches in me, that we are just here. There's just this life. You know, the fact that I have this friend who not is only just similar with how I am, but connects with me. Even if, because we're different, of course, we have different interests and hobbies and fascinations and stuff, and we're completely different people, but there are areas where we cross over in similarity together. But the ability to connect on that level of here we are-ness, you know? And I feel so blessed to have these people in my life where nothing even needs to be said. Nothing needs to be said. We're just here together. We're just here. And we'll either talk or not. We'll either do a little dance together or not. Narcissism is one of those words, like I said earlier, it's one of those buzzwords where you at least I do, I hear it around a lot. You know, anybody that mistreats someone is a manipulative, narcissistic gaslighter, sociopath, you know? If someone hurts your feelings, they're a narcissist. And that's not the case. That's not the case. At least that's how it feels to me, is that just because someone hurt your feelings or isn't similar to you or is, you know, stubborn in changing themselves to adhere to what you think they should be, because that's honestly what a lot of it is about too, is that what you're calling a narcissist and what you're calling the ability to not connect with someone may be legitimate and viable of a thing to feel, but at the same time is being born out of your desire for them to fulfill a certain state to you. You know what I mean? Of the here we are-ness that's behind the ego characters, that ability to connect behind the play. You want that from them. So if someone is very much so present but doesn't want to be there with you, I don't know how to, just because someone isn't fulfilling exactly what you'd like them to be, it doesn't mean they're a narcissist. It doesn't mean they're gaslighting you. It doesn't mean they're manipulative. To the extent that you know those things, you also are yourself. You are aware of what it means to be manipulative. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, honestly. I'm pretty stoned right now. Just sitting out here in these woods as they're blooming. No, there's very much so a surface level of narcissism and wanting someone to break free from their ways and their patterns. Where you yourself have we all have narcissistic tendencies and manipulative tendencies and super just subtle, maybe not so subtle, egoic energy and activity going on. At least I do, you know? And I don't consider myself to be someone who's a narcissistic, manipulative gaslighter, you know what I mean? I mean, maybe that's just what a narcissistic, manipulative gaslighter would say is, oh, I'm not that. That's so funny. But the ability to recognize what someone is not is only recognizable to the extent that you know what it is that you're looking for in that person. Whether that be presence or like deep consciousness presence together, or whether that just be them spending time with you or being similar to how you are. There's many different ways in which we connect. But the thing that I'm talking about here, or at least trying to talk about, the thing that I'm pointing to, the form of connection that I'm talking about, is behind the scenes of the ego, of the I'm me, and this is what I'm interested in, and this is what I'm doing, and this is how I feel, and this is what I've been through. And behind that scene, you exist. And when you're with someone else, behind their scene, they exist and are. And in this feeling of connection that I'm talking about is just the mere recognition of here we are. Wow, what is this? You know what I mean? The way Ram Dass puts it, are you over there? I'm in here. How did you get over there? It's this childlike recognition of just the absurdity of the situation going on right now that we call life. Of what does it mean to even be here? And what does it mean that you're over there? You know what I mean? And that ability to connect, I simply cannot describe to you how that feels. I was talking a moment ago about my friend that I was talking to, who I'm so dear and blessed to have in my life, I was telling him about how the other day I was talking to my brother about how if I didn't, because my brother is one of these beings that connects with me. If I didn't have him and this friend I'm talking about and my mom, who's connected on this level of a consciousness, I would be having a really hard time. I would be having a really hard time because I feel different. You know what I mean? I feel the things that I associate with and the things that catch my eye are much different than this culture that I live in. And if I didn't have these other beings that were here with me, sharing the experience of presence and mystery and awe and beauty and love and craziness, if I didn't have these beings, I would be very much so questioning the legitimacy of my own experience. You know, because even with these people that I'm deeply connected with in my life, I come across challenges, people that challenge my sense of reality a lot. And if you're into spirituality too, you probably have people that challenge your sense of reality as well, in saying how, whether it's just in the passing of a conversation and they're talking about how real science is and spirituality is bullshit, and you're just sitting there like, oh wow, this guy doesn't know the spirit. You know what I mean? Like, and you realize in that moment that it's challenging. Am I just this type of person that's into what they call spirituality? Is there not actually a legitimacy to my recognition of how things are? Am I not seeing truth? Am I just another schmuck that's just making stuff up? You know what I mean? Or if you're in a direct like argument and confrontational moment with someone who's telling you you're crazy, I have friends who are still my friends who, back when I was first getting into spirituality and psychedelics and philosophy and stuff, were literally telling me like, you're fucking crazy, bro. Like you're just this drugged out hippie guy that doesn't, like, nothing you're saying makes sense, and you're not tuned into something and shit like that, completely challenging what I was experiencing. But although at times when you're just surrounded by people who don't recognize the spirit, you can feel lonely, you can feel ostracized. In a way, that's what the dark night of the soul is feeling, why isn't anybody else around me awake to the wonder of life, you know? But there's also, the longer you proceed in your spiritual practice, you develop a faith. You develop a faith that your understandings of how to navigate life and move through this experience isn't dependent upon how other people perceive you. You know what I mean? You begin to develop a faith. And to tie this into what I was talking about, you don't need to connect with people because of this faith that you've developed of not needing someone to be in the space of here we are, you know what I mean? But what's kind of interesting is that even if they're not like conceptually recognizing the here we are-ness that's behind the roles that we're playing, even if they're not recognizing that, if you see it, the part in them that is that, without even knowing it, which is how it is for you too, but you're just thinking about it, you are there with them in that extent. And through that is how you learn to allow people to just be what they are. You know what I mean? Where you can look someone in the eyes and they're talking about fucking McDonald's or sports or news or politics or COVID or anything that you find yourself not necessarily fascinated with, and you can be right here with them because you're connected into the space of yourself that is here-ness, and that is the same space in them that is here, you know? So you are there with them in that, to that extent. But my God, is it beautiful when you cross paths with someone, or fortunately maybe have in your family and your immediate life, where even down into the rational thinking mind, the ego, being able to go, wow, here we are. Like my friend this morning sent me, being able to not only be here, but the ability to share that with each other. And that, to me, that is such a genuine form of reaching out. Of here we are. You know, you're who you are over there, right? I'm right here. I'm just being me too. We're in these body things and we're present for this moment, you know what I mean? It's so fascinating. It's so cool. So cool. And that is also why eye contact is so powerful, and maybe for people so strange and weird, of like, you want to look at someone, but if they look at you, you're like you look right away like, oh God, they saw me. Who saw who, you know? It's presence. It's the presence that's deep. The pupils go deep, deep. The pupils are where it's who's looking. It's who's looking. Not only through the eyes, but in the mind and in the being, the soul itself. I kind of trailed off from narcissism, but essentially what I'm talking about here is the inability to connect with certain people, and how it seems like they're either choosing to not connect, or they literally are unable to recognize their own awareness, which is here with you in the moment, you know? And not only am I talking about this deep sort of transcendental recognition together of, wow, here we are experiencing life. That is very rare to be able to experience with people. And that's why I keep saying I'm so blessed to have the people in my life that I do share that transcendental recognition with, because if I didn't, it would just be harder for me. It would be stranger to be how I am and to feel how I feel. Oh, there's a tick. But I'm not just talking about that recognition together. I'm also talking about when you feel in your heart that what someone is doing, whether it's your own, like a friend or someone you've just come across, doing just through the happenings of the day, or if it's your very family member that you live with, no matter who it is, when you feel in your heart that what they're doing is inherently wrong and negative and in a completely obvious way causing more suffering than there needs to be, and you see this in yourself, that this person is not doing the right thing, whatever the right thing is, you know? Oh, I got a tick on me. I'm probably gonna have so many ticks on me right now. But when you witness someone who's not doing the right thing, and I guess I'll just leave it at that, because we all know those moments where we come across someone or we have an interaction with someone where how they're being isn't cool at all. And it could be a very long and ongoing thing for years, this narcissistic tendency of this person. And you've tried and tried and tried to connect with them, but they aren't, this is where I keep saying, they aren't willing to connect and to open, or they're unable to. And it's hard for you to rationalize, why can't they just fucking open and be here in this life right now saying, wow, isn't this crazy? Or wow, the way I'm doing things is causing a lot of pain and suffering. Wow, I have a lot of work to do on myself. Why can't these certain individuals notice that? And that's kind of what I call as well a narcissist, is these types of individuals that can't notice this thing, and usually because of that are very, what you'd call narcissistic people, very negative and overpowering and ignorant and judgmental and full of anger and envy and resentment and sadness and pain. And you all know the kind of people. It's somewhat, you know what I mean? That's one of those things. Am I the only one that like deals with people that just seem like negative, you know? I'm sure I'm not. I'm sure all of you know the kind of person that I'm talking about in this really long-winded way. But how that's kind of what I think of as a narcissist. And when I look further into what a narcissist is, it's directly tied into ego. It's directly tied into the role of who we think we are, you know? And what's going on is, like I've said multiple times, it feels like you're reaching out from the depths of your sincerity. You're reaching out to this being. Whether they're treating you horribly or they're treating another being horribly, whether it's a person or an animal or anything. And you are trying to come out and say, hey, why are you doing that? Why are you living in this way? And they are unwilling. They call you crazy. They call you out of line for calling them out. They say, who do you think you are? I'm fine. You're the one who's fucked up. You're the one who's judgmental. You're the one who has something wrong. The way I'm doing is because of this. They usually present the victim mentality. And you're the one that doesn't understand and doesn't make sense and is being out of line here. That's usually the reaction of when you try to reach out to these certain beings that I'm talking about that you just can't seem to connect with. That's usually the reaction. And if you do connect with these beings, it's not in their awareness, because you are merely being with the thing in them that is in you too, and forgetting about your desire to be able to live consciously in the beauty of life. Of, wow, here we are. Isn't this crazy? Wow, I am sad, and this is why I'm sad. Do you feel that? Do you understand? And they do, and they share, and they express. This idea of not being able to connect with people is really fascinating to me, because what does it mean to connect, and what does it mean to not connect with someone? I think that's what we mean in the whole joke of like people being NPCs, which, if you don't know, stands for non-playable characters, where if we think about it in that way, that's kind of what everybody is. Even if you're connected on a spiritual, present, awareness-based level, their body and the thing that operates and animates what they are is an NPC. You can't be that. You can only be your NPC, you know? But I think what people are talking about is people who are like seem brain dead to their own life and to how they're treating people and how they're being, and perhaps what they believe in and what politics side they're on, and a more superficial level of it, of they're NPCs because they don't believe in what I believe in. That's a little bit silly of a level, but also I think it's talking about people's deadness to life and awareness and presence and working on yourself and being a light in this world and being positive and trying to be the example of what you'd like to see in the world. Some people seem like they're completely turned off from that. And I've said it many times, but I can't discern in myself whether they are choosing not to be aware and work on themselves, or if they literally can't see that something is wrong with how they're being, you know? And this is in severe cases of someone's being really negative, someone's beating you, abusing an animal, hurting people, abuse, violence, those kind of people. And you can also think of it on the scale of what's going on in this moment, the amount of people that are being murdered and raped and tortured and kidnapped and killed in war, all this stuff, all that negativity. What is that? Why can't, because the way it is for me is that when I see, just for example, someone that's abusing someone physically, whether it's physically or mentally, that doesn't matter. When I see that, or someone who's abusing an animal, when I see that, I can't rationalize in my mind how they could do that. How are they able to do that and not feel bad? How are they able to be so negative? How are they able to do something so horrible and then still justify it? Because I can't do that. I can't beat someone up or abuse an animal and feel like they deserved it and I'm right. I can't feel like that. I can't imagine how that's even possible to do. And that's generally what you're confronting these beings about, is why are you being the way you are? Which is a really deep question. And it's as though they aren't coming out from behind the curtains. This life is wild. The way, in your immediate life, look at the things people do and how people are and have been. Maybe look at how you are and the patterns that you think in. This world is wild. To be human is profound. Completely through and through profound. And look at all the pain and all the suffering and the sadness and the evil, what appears to be evil. Look at all the evil in the world. Don't you wonder, why are we doing that? Why are those people doing that? Don't you wonder what their motives are? We think of statements like, how do they sleep at night? You know what I mean? How do you sleep at night being how you are? How do these torturous, evil people sleep at night? Are they NPCs? Do they simply not care? Are they unable to recognize how they're being? What is it? Why are these certain people the way they are? Because when you connect with someone, you accept and allow and understand the humanness of you and this person or these people. That, yes, we're completely egoic. I'm completely egoic and selfish and ignorant and arrogant and greedy and lustful and judgmental and all this stuff. We're all the stuff. We just show it and express it in different levels. We're all that stuff. But we have the ability, when we've connected with someone, to allow that to happen. Because it's not like spiritual communities or spiritual groups or spiritual unions together are complete spirituality and ignore the human part of us. No, the spirituality is through and through of, yeah, I'm upset right now, and I'm pretty sure it's about something stupid, but I feel upset, and this is the dynamics of that, and, what do you think of that? Is it okay? Am I okay to feel like this? Or do I have to hide this from you? You know what I mean? Spiritual connections are the ability and the potential to allow each other to just be how you are and be able to connect behind it. And you're not always going to feel connected in the presence of oneness, because life happens and we feel certain ways and we get upset and we get sad and we get irritated and we get judgmental and we say something we don't mean. But being connected with people or someone in the way that I'm talking about in this video creates a space and a ground, a means of being able to say, to just be here with each other, be there and say, I don't think what you're doing is super smart. I don't think what you're doing is mindful. Or to be told that yourself by this person of, I don't think the way you're going about this is as good as you could have gone about it or are going about it. The ability to just share with each other and be human. You know what I mean? Not have to hide your emotions and your judgments and your humanness. Not have to hide your humanness. And when you aren't in a spiritual recognition of the humanness together with each other, it's really just the humanness of, oh, I gotta hide my feelings, and oh, they pissed me off. You're the enemy. You're the one that did me wrong. Fuck you. This is why you're wrong. I'm right. And arguing, you know what I mean? Really butting heads. But the spiritual union is the ability. It creates a sort of soft landing for you guys to just be who you are, and also be behind it. I feel the way I feel, and that's okay, because here we are. And I don't know if I'm right or wrong. And that's why I want to talk about it and share it and express it and not have to hide it from you and create little boundaries where, oh, they're here, gotta, you know what I mean? Maybe you don't know what I mean. As I'm talking, I'm like, it's all crumbling away into the distance. I don't know what I've talked about, so I've probably repeated myself a bunch. But there is an ability to connect with each other in this life. And to me, it's what is referred to as Satsang or Sangha, the spiritual community, that recognizes the path and says, here we are. How is your spiritual path been? How has life been for you? Are you in there? How do you feel about things? Connecting and being there for each other. And you must be able to see how that level of connection completely transcends similar interests and hobbies and personalities. It has nothing to do with the exterior forms of how your ego is and how their ego it is, how their ego is. It has to do with just being here, the being that we are. That's Satsang. That's Sangha. Where with some people, it's just a matter of looking into the eyes for a moment. And it's here we are. And you feel that with them. There is the ability to connect. And there is also the inability, the seeming inability to connect. Where you want so badly to just presently, in the present moment, connect with someone. Because maybe they're causing a lot of suffering and harm and negativity and violence in your life or others' lives. But they aren't willing or are unable to see how they're being and to recognize their life. It hurts. It hurts, you know, to see people treating other people like that or treating you like that in that very negative way. It hurts. Because don't you see how ignorant you are? I see it clear as day. How do you not see how ignorant and stubborn and negative you're being? Why is everything about you? Why is everything about how you are and what you think, and that I can't say anything about you because I'm inferior to you? You must know these kind of people that I'm talking about. Those are the kind of questions I wonder in myself. Of, don't you see you're being an asshole? Don't you see how egoic you're being? Are you not aware of that? Or are you choosing to and I keep saying that. I keep saying, are you unaware of it? Or are you choosing not to? I say the choosing part because I can't imagine going, oh, I'm going to choose. He's trying to get me to come out from behind my ego. I'm going to choose not to. That doesn't make sense to me because I can't hide from myself. I can't hide from myself. If I know they're connecting to me, I can't not connect to them. If I know that they're asking for me, I can't not come out. I can't not greet them in that because I'm aware of that level of connection. I can't choose to be an asshole. I can't choose to, I'm going to ignore your attempts to connect on a spiritual level. I can't do that. I'm going to choose to ignore seeing that I'm being negative. I can't do that. When you become aware, when you wake up, you can't go back to sleep. That's the thing. When you wake up to your ego, when whoever it is, consciousness, arrives and sees, my God, I am alive and look how I'm being. You can't not see that level of yourself. And so that proceeds working on yourself because you realize the patterning of how you are is kind of crappy or negative or not beneficial. And when you connect with your own light, there's nothing you'd rather be than connected to your light and your passion and your love and your spirit. Because you are right on such mental clarity and compassion and oneness, true oneness and flow, you know, when you are tuned into what you are. See, I told you there's all sorts of shit I wanted to talk about in this video. And I also didn't know how I wanted to express it. I knew it would kind of be all over the place because, I don't know. That's how I heard Ram Dass put it. That's how the mind works. The mind doesn't work sequentially. It works associatively. Meaning when I think of one thing, it reminds me of this thing, and then I share that, and the way I said that makes me think of that. You know what I mean? The mind is wild, bro. Yeah. I live in Maine, and there are ticks everywhere, bro. Oh, it's so nice out right now. It's like warm, but it's also kind of damp. And like fog is about to start rolling through, and you can see the humidity, the sort of grayness. I love it. It's such a nice vibe. But yeah, if you're still here, all I've really been talking about is like why people can be such assholes and go their whole life without recognizing it and working on themselves. And how can they treat people like such shit and be so stupid and not recognize it? It really is mind-boggling when you experience it firsthand. When you experience lack of presence and evil and negativity and hatred and anger and resentment. And when you experience those things, it's really far out. Especially when you're someone who is working on yourself and has become familiar with those feelings and like how that's not really the best way to go about things, you know? And you see someone that is so stuck in their ways that it like makes you confused. Like, what the fuck? Like, how can they, where are they? How do I connect with them? You know what I mean? Maybe the spiritual community, it just fucking whacked out people that just want way too much from everybody else. Who knows? Maybe they're onto something, maybe they're not. I don't know. I feel like I'm onto something. I also sometimes feel like I'm whacked right out of it too. That's the faith thing I was talking about. When I have faith, I know I'm onto something. When I don't have faith, I feel crazy. Oh my God, that's so cool. This is little fuzzy grass. Oh, that feels trippy. Oh, yucky lighting. I recently got a new phone. I have an iPhone 14 Pro. A couple weeks ago, I had a completely fine, perfectly working phone. I just thought to myself, I think I saw an ad for a new phone, and I was like, you know what? I think Northwood Shaman's gonna treat himself. And what it really was the camera. I mean, this kind of isn't doing it justice right now because of the fucked up lighting. Maybe it looks a little better, but yeah, it's the camera on this phone I have. I was like, dude, it would be really cool to get some nice photos and beautiful videos, and the abilities that this phone I got offer is really cool too. Like the different capabilities of the videos and photos and stuff. I think a lot of what I'm talking about, a lot of what it comes down to is like people being narcissists and you wondering why you can't connect with them and how are they so stubborn and all that. I think a lot of what it comes down to is just karma, you know, and reincarnation, and how they're working some shit out and you're working some shit out. You're supposed to be someone that wants to connect with them but can't. They're supposed to be someone that can't connect with others and is causing major amounts of pain and suffering for themselves and others. You're supposed to be that, they're supposed to be that. You know what I mean? And we can't rationalize it because we are just one thread of life of ego in a whole web, a whole fabric of lives, of action, of karma, of doing things which caused this, and then doing that caused that. You know what I'm saying? It's so complex that in this one life, unless you get enlightened, you can't really fathom and comprehend just what's going on, exactly what's going on. You can't understand it. It seems a little bit outside of your ability to grasp of why am I the way I am, and why are they the way they are, and what is this? You can't pick up on where you are in your reincarnational stream of awakening back into the oneness. I mean, maybe you can, and you've like tapped into the Akashic records, or you know, I've seen this guy going around that like remembers all these past lives. Maybe you're one of those people. But like, it's hard to comprehend the web of karma and how deep it really goes, how big it really is. And I think that's what a lot of this comes down to, is they're just supposed to be like that. And the things they're suffering, they were supposed to be in that position to suffer. You know what I mean? They were supposed to be hurt by that person because of what that thing caused in all of its past lives, and how this right now is what it needs. What everyone and everything needs most of the utmost to awaken further, if that makes sense. And it's hard for our egoic, rational minds to comprehend that, because we think we should be different right now, and this is who I am, and this is who you should be, and that's wrong. But it's all whatever you think meant to happen. Whatever they do meant to happen. Whatever you do meant to happen. You can't avoid what you're gonna do, and what you're gonna do is meant to happen. That's the idea of determinism, and it's something that I kind of feel within existence. Of course, there's the ability to... It seems like we make choices, and it seems like we can choose to come out from behind our ego and, you know, come into a spiritual state of awareness. It seems like we chose and can choose to do that, but also it's completely beyond the ability of what free will appears to be, and is more so a more fundamental awakening of consciousness itself. It's not you doing it. It's consciousness awakening. You know, it's not personal. And in that same way, people being evil, dark, sick, sadistic, sociopathic, fucked up people, they're not choosing to do that. It's happening, you know? And that's hard to comprehend. But what I'm talking about as far as the determinism and the you can't not do what you're gonna do, that kind of opens the door. It cracks the door into the ability of empathizing with these beings and developing a compassion and a wisdom of they are just what they are, and I can't change them, but you can be what you are, which is love and wisdom, and that may change them. But recognizing that we're all just doing what we're doing and aren't necessarily in control, it gives you a little bit of space to accept how someone is. Not on a level of it's right, but on a level of that's just where they are in their awareness. And it might be sad, it might be suffering, it might be depressing, it might be irritating, but it allows you to allow them, you know? And you can allow someone to be what they are, but at the same time, tell them that what they're doing isn't right. It's trippy. It's the idea, I guess, of morals and right and wrong and the dualities of good and bad and wisdom and ignorance and love and hate and that kind of stuff. Of love is wondering, why are you being so uptight? Why are you being such an asshole? Don't you feel bad? Don't you want to love? Don't you want to be happy? Oh my God, there's a little chipmunk right up in front of my phone. You got all scared. And the truth is, they do want to be happy. They do want to be in love. They do want to be joyful and present and light. But they don't know how to. And that's why they're being evil. Is because they're so fucking fed up with not knowing how to be happy that they think they're just unhappy. Life sucks. This is bullshit. I don't matter and neither do you. You know? Which precedes all this evil. Because they don't know the way out. They don't know the way to the light. And it's really deep. It's really deep because how do you know the light without the darkness? Some people in your life will be teachers, but not in the sense that they teach you things you aspire to, but rather in the sense that they teach you of exactly how not to be. There will most certainly be those people of where it seems like your whole life you've been taking notes on them doing what they do, and you're going, okay, don't do that. Okay, definitely don't be like that. Don't do, you know what I'm saying? Those people, it's just like, okay, that's an example of what I fear, of how I don't want to be. That's an example of how not to go about life. Because look at the result. Suffering, anger, hatred, depression, denial, pain, agony, you know? That's how not to be. Blessed be are those that are here and connect and working on themselves. You're not alone. There are many, many other people out there working on themselves, wondering if the others are out there too. That are looking for someone to say, are you here? I'm here. Wow, this is crazy. How is your spiritual path? How do you feel inside yourself? What do you think of all of this? It's not just trippy deep talk. It's the feeling of touching, awareness of this moment. We're only going to be alive. That's a huge thing. We're only going to be alive, all of us, for the next 60 to 80 years, you know? If that. That's to say that we die of natural causes at an old age, rather than something catastrophic happening that causes the body to die at an unexpected point. But it's, you know, we're going to die. We're literally going to die. Why aren't we here? Why are we fucking around? Why aren't we being loving? Why do we get so uptight about stupid shit? Why are we at war? Why are there people suffering? Why are there people starving to fucking death? Why are there people murdering and torturing, you know? It's far out. It's hard to comprehend. Fuck, I just stopped the video on accident. I was going to move my phone to get a little bit better lighting. New scenery. I probably have so much more ticks on me than I've pulled off. Yeah, when you look at the perspective of death, of dying, at least when I do, it's a beautiful contrast to realize how silly and stupid I'm being, how overdramatic and how petty the things I'm upset about are. I'm literally gonna die, bro, and I don't know what that means. I'm just here, and I get to be alive for this X amount of time that I can't predict. Don't I want to have fun and teach and learn and be loving and gracious and fascinated and wondrous and quirky and enthusiastic and passionate and intrigued, and you know what I mean? Wouldn't I rather work on myself than just drone through life in a negative, sad way? But if I talk about not being able to choose, you can't choose to work on yourself. You either are working on yourself or you're not. You can't choose. You don't choose to look at life in a negative, shitty way. You know what I mean? It's so deep. It's so deep and contradictory. I say one thing and then I say the other. You know what I mean? It's completely paradoxical. But it feels how it is. You know, it feels, we make choices. We do choose to be sad, and we do choose to wake up and work on ourselves. But in the same moment, we're not choosing to do that stuff. It's completely dualistic. But there's a feeling inside of it that is allowed and makes sense. I exist, but at the same time, I don't exist. There's something here, but at the same time, absolutely nothing exists. Void, nothing. Not even the nothing that I'm saying there is. Nothing. Emptiness. Life's far out, people are far out, people are weird. We're all gonna apparently die. These bodies at least are gonna die. We don't know what's gonna happen as far as conscious experience goes. Maybe you do, maybe you think you know, maybe you actually know. I don't think I know what happens when I die. But it feels like there's, I don't know, man, life is so far out. Fuck. Life is just happening. And all I've talked about is how weird it is to not be able to connect with people and not being able to discern whether they're choosing not to connect with you or they literally can't, you know? And how this connection thing I'm talking about isn't personality stuff. It's not about that we both like spirituality or we both like hiking or we both like surfing. It's not about that. It's that you're you and I'm me and holy fuck, we're here together. Isn't that crazy? And they go, wow, yeah, it is crazy. I don't know what it means either, you know? Or you're kind of being a piece of shit and I've felt like you've been being a piece of shit for years now. What's going on? And them going, you know, you're kind of right. I've been a piece of shit and it's hard for me not to because of this. And I'm trying to get, you know what I'm saying? Connecting, talking, working, ironing out, shedding, learning, remembering. working on yourself. Strange how certain people don't seem like they are, at least consciously in this life. As far as the karmic web of eternity goes, we're all working on ourselves. We're all waking up. We're all falling asleep to wake up so that we can fall asleep to wake up. But as far as this immediate, intimate life goes of right now, what are we going to do? Are we going to have fun and work on ourselves and grow? Or are we going to be assholes and ignorant? Who knows? My brother and I were talking about this, and it was a situation that my brother and I went through together with someone close in our life that is one of these people that just does negative things. And my brother was talking about if we all were right here in this moment, in awareness, we would do what needs to be done. The right thing. If everyone, because everyone's everywhere right now. The whole world is happening right now. If everyone tackled with consciousness the problems at hand right where they are, it would all fucking disappear, bro. People would get helped by the people that are right there. You know what I'm saying? It was very beautiful. It was very beautiful what he said, and it was far out and kind of abstract, but it was right on with how I felt. Of yes, you are only one person here. You are a little drop in the ocean of humanity. There's a lot of people. But if you, in your sovereignty of this moment, do good shit, do good things, you're doing what you can. And if everyone did that, everyone would be doing their utmost best to relieve suffering, and a lot of fucking suffering would disappear. A lot of wisdom and insight would be born out of that mass awareness, you know? A few weeks ago, my brother and I were talking about the idea of a utopia, of kind of what I was just talking about. If we all came to awareness, you know, which just seems, and this is interesting, I haven't put a lot of thought into utopian societies and the potential of humans and what we could be doing, because it seems unrealistic. And it seems like it's impossible, like we can't all be enlightened, you know what I mean? There has to be the contrast, you know? But my brother and I were talking, and I started actually considering what a utopia would be like. Because my brother, it's beautiful how he says this, but he says, we have the potential to all wake the fuck up, you know? And what would that look like? It's very abstract to look at what that would look like. And that's why I don't think about it a lot, because it's hard to imagine. And we started thinking and scheming about like what it would be like, what a utopia would be like. Perfect. And just to talk about like one of the things we imagined, imagine, if you will, an annual event, and think of what I'm about to tell you, think of it on the scale of a single town or maybe a city. Forget the states, forget the countries, forget the nations. Go kind of small scale, think of just a town or a city. Imagine an annual event, once every single year. Every time the sun goes around, once a year, there's an event that's held in the town. And it's put together by a group of conscious, mindful representatives, an organization, a conscious organization. And what this event is it's put together, perhaps it's outside, out in nature, there's food, there's seats, things are accommodated for, and what this event is every single citizen in that city or town is invited to come to this event. And it's popular because, utopian society, everybody comes to this event. And the reason they go to this event is because what this event is it's the annual get-together of the community to share how they feel and how things have been in the past year. And you go to this event, and there's a microphone, and everybody gets the opportunity to go up and talk about how they feel and what's been good for them and the struggles they've ran into and how this has been hard for them, and maybe we could go about it in this kind of way. And everybody is there and present and goes up and shares their piece, and everybody shares all this stuff. The entirety of the human society of that town or city shares how things are and how things have been feeling. And of course, this event could go on for a week or 2 weeks, and you're there for like the day or whatever. And throughout the 2 weeks, there's different categories of, if you come on this day, we're going to be talking about mental health. If you come on this day, we're going to talk about financing. If you come on this day, we're going to be talking about crime. If you come on this day, we're going to be talking about physical health. And if you come on this day, we're going to be talking about economical well-being, of how we're treating the environment. Imagine that. Imagine where you, in the town or city you live in, had the opportunity, because you were invited to this event, to go up and speak about how you feel about how things have been. And since it's once a year, you have the entire year to experience life in this town or whatever, just doing your thing and sort of putting together a formal thing that you'd like to share at this annual event, of whether your thing is based around the mental well-being of people, or crime, or financing and how money is weird in this area, or how we're treating the environment and these animals are becoming extinct and we need to do this. Imagine being able to have an event that's shared around that, where it's literally we the people, not this government, this world, this culture now, America, or in a lot of places, it's not we the people, man. It's tyrannical governments teetering on the edges of tyranny, Maybe they act like we're free and we have choices and freedom and, wiggle room, but they're teetering on the edges of tyranny. The very country, and I'm talking about America, the very country that became a country because they left a tyrannical government, is themselves now beginning to become tyrannical and weird and controlling and propagandizing things, and But imagine this event I'm talking about, because that's not what we have right now. What we have right now, like when you think of politics and, big get-togethers about how we're being as a society, it's usually like elections for this governor or this president or this political group. And you go in, and rather than it being a community-based thing, you go into these little booths with panels on the sides so you can't see your brothers and sisters of humanity. And they're separated from you, and you color in this little bubble of who you think would be good, because maybe you've been pressured into it, or you think, or That'll be the least damaging. I don't want either of these two schmucks, but I'll pick this one because I don't want that one. That's the shit we do. That's how we run our government. It's not fucking community-based at all. And these get-togethers are usually that one politician or whatever it is going up and saying, I'm going to do this, and this is going to stop, and I'm going to do that. And the crowd goes, yay! Or the crowd goes, oh no! And the crowd asks these weird questions where they only have 20 seconds to pose their question. It's so fucked up and so weird how this government is, you know? I'm sure you know. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you because that was an interesting conversation my brother and I had as well, of just how weird fucking government is. We're still acting, and like, I don't watch the news at all, bro, because anytime I watch it, I basically start laughing or I get like irritated. Like, why are we so fucking stupid and weird? Why is this what we're doing? You know what I mean? The strange seriousness and formality of it and boxed bullshit. Life isn't boxes. Life isn't neat and square and organized and sophisticated, you know? Life is poetry. Life is abstract and just completely rambunctious, growing, alive, changing, morphing, falling apart, happening, you know? Why can't we embody that a little bit more? And I'm talking, of course, about a mass scale. You on your own, you can embody that. You can be the light. You can work on yourself. You can be here and do shit and enjoy life. You know? It's so strange, you guys. It's so far out. Oh, tick. Another tick on my water bottle. Yeah, when I get home, I'm definitely gonna have to take a shower, bro. There's like probably ticks all over me. Oh. I'm not gonna hit my power button this time. Oh, dude, I want to show you my pants. Look at my pants, bro. Getting ready to head back to the house. Oh shit. We all just exist. Here we are. You know what I mean? Here we are. Got my hat. I got it over my bun. Looks funny as shit. The Satsang, the Sangha is so beautiful. The spiritual community is so beautiful. If you watch these videos and feel like we're hanging out and you're, you know, learning and exploring and working on yourself through watching these videos, you are the Satsang. You are the spiritual community that I love so fucking dearly. Even if I don't know you, even if we're not similar, we are similar in the sense that here we are. Life, we live together right now in this lifetime. This is where we are together right now. Here we are. And what's funny is there's nothing to say other than that. Here we are. Do you want to do something? Do you want to talk? We don't have to. Oh, that's a beautiful mushroom. We're all human. We all got our desires and our arrogance and our bullshit and our pet peeves and our silly stuff. But in the spiritual community, that's okay. It's like, yeah, of course you have an ego. Of course you're a douchebag sometimes. Of course you get irritated about stupid stuff sometimes. So do I. We all are just here being humans, and that's what working on yourself is about fucking working on yourself and not being as arrogant and trying to catch yourself before you react in a unconscious way, you know? It's okay. Just know that you're being arrogant and don't act like you're perfect. And I think we'll both be pretty happy together. You know what I mean? That's the spiritual community. I don't think I'm perfect because I'm over here working on myself. So if I can't connect with you on a level of where you aren't realizing how you're hurting me or others or yourself, like, we can't connect. We can't connect on that deep level because you aren't willing to recognize that you need to work on yourself. You need to switch it up a little bit. And I say you need to as if it's dire to fucking work on yourself. It's completely free, you know? You do what you do. You're gonna do what you do, you know? But yeah, it's just nice to connect, to be in love together, to connect in the space of love together. Not, oh my God, I love you, you know, not that, but that in a deeper sense, you know? Not romanticized love, but presence love, spiritual love. Romantic love is fun though. Oh my God, it's fun, and it's also can be pretty rough. You learn a lot through that stuff. You learn a lot through romantic connections if you're consciously working on yourself. If you're not consciously working on yourself and you're getting into romantic connections, you're either just basking in one pleasure after another, or really fucking hurting yourself and causing yourself to go through a hard time because of these romantic endeavors you're going on. You know what I mean? You're either seeking mad pleasures or are really like distraught and fucked up feeling from those romantic experiences you've had. And that's, of course, if you're not consciously working on yourself and getting into romantic experiences together, you know? And that's when you learn a whole great deal about desire and attachment and emotions and the depth and power of how you can feel, you know, and how it affects you when you're consciously working on yourself, when you're on this spiritual path. You learn a whole lot when you embark on those romantic experiences with people. Even though I say embark as if you're choosing, but sometimes it feels like it just happened, you know? But yeah, I've talked about a whole bunch of stuff in this video, and it's been really fun. I love making videos. I know I go a while sometimes. I think it's been almost 3 weeks now. But I kind of think of every video as like a little project where I'm presenting something, you know what I mean? Like, I could just talk about stuff, but like I've talked about this many times in the past too, of like, videos are born as they're born, you know? I don't like to strain my way into making a video. They just arise. They spontaneously arise. So yeah, I'm probably gonna head out, making my way back right now. It's been fun talking. It's been fun being here. camera does look good, I gotta admit. When there's good lighting, it does look really nice. Even on this front-facing cam. All right, I'm gonna head out, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment talking about what you thought was interesting or not. Thank you for being here. We are all life, we are all here. And I love you all so dearly. You have a great rest of your day. See you guys.